I'm Robyn Shepherd. Welcome to our podcast. We are attorneys and practice as such at SchoemanLaw Inc. in Cape Town and Paarl, South Africa. Running a business with a family can be rewarding but also challenging. Today, Nicolene Schoeman-Louw and Ross Hendriks join me to explore how to navigate this dynamic. Ross, I'm going to start with you. Can you tell us why do family and businesses often intertwine and what challenges arise?
So family is often the first source of funding or talent for small businesses. And I think we all know that we run to our family members when we want to start a new business or we have a new idea for a business. And the funding normally starts there. It's easier to get funding from a family member. However, working with family, it can create issues when roles aren't formalized or when personal dynamics spill over into the business operations. And just to elaborate more on that is that I think it is important to formalize a specific role that each member, whether it's your brother or your sister, um, that is going to play in this business operations. I think you need to have employment contracts, what the role is, what happens in the event that there's a breakdown in the relationship between the parties. Um, there's importance for an MOI, a shareholders agreement. All those things need to be put in place because the challenge that arises that as a result of the personal dynamics between um, family members, it's more personal rather than objective, is how I see it. Um, because there are a lot more emotions that are put into play when it comes to your family members. When you're working with individuals outside of your family, you have the ability to be more objective and less emotional around specific disputes or disagreements. However, with family, that it doesn't apply always, and a simple argument can result in a complete breakdown in the relationship between the two of you or three of you, however many there are, which can ultimately lead to a complete breakdown in business operations. It can cause a collapse of the business, can create disruptions between employee morale. So those are all things that essentially those are the challenges that arise between family members when wanting to start businesses together, and hence the importance of having a proper shareholders agreement, a proper MOI, a proper employment contract, setting out the exact roles and responsibilities of each member um, in the business, as well as having policies in place so that you can essentially limit the amount of challenges that you have, and any disruptions that may arise from this. Um, I think I've spoken quite a bit on family and business and how they intertwine and these challenges. I think we can go over to Nicolene. Nicolene, if you could possibly please assist us with what measures can families take to avoid conflicts?
Thank you, Ross. I want to continue on with the thoughts that you've shared with us. I agree that one should document as appropriately as you would have had you not been in a family run or managed business setup. I think because we are family, we've got the familiarity between one another. So we assume a lot of things. And that's really where I feel a lot of unnecessary risk gets taken on by the group as a whole. And remember, beyond the ramifications in the business itself, it doesn't stop there. It's almost comparable, I think, in many ways to cyber bullying. It's the type of bullying that doesn't have a stop button. It's always there. Um, so the point is, if there's an issue in the business, it goes home with you if it's family run and owned. And that's why I think the most critical point is always ask yourself, if you are in a family business or if you are considering starting a business with a family member or even a friend for that matter, where there is a deep sense of familiarity between you, be aware of the blind spot of assumption. We assume or presume a lot of things, and that's really the biggest enemy in the room. We have to document, and we have to document almost putting on a hat of, let's say we don't know each other. Let's say we don't actually know, and ask the questions as we would have with a stranger. So I almost want to say it needs to have a separation of church and state. We need to say, this is our boundary, this is what we do at work or at the business, and we leave it there when we come home, and vice versa. The personal interrelational dynamics or challenges can never spill over from the one to the other. That's really a very unhealthy situation to find anyone in. So with that being said, Robyn, what advice would you give to family-run businesses already in existence or those potentially planning to start one?
Thank you so much for the question. My advice would be to always plan for contingencies like succession or buyouts, and having these type of contingencies really helps maintain both the family harmony as well as the business to be able to continue. It's also really important to establish clear roles and responsibilities between the family members. And then, of course, to formalize business, to have a formalized business structure, and to treat the business as professional as possible, and to plan for growth and adaptability. That's really important as well when it comes to family-run businesses. I think you and Ross really touched on really good points when it comes to these kind of businesses. With that being said, thank you for joining us today on our podcast. Please like, share, and comment in the box below. Should you have any suggestions, please feel free to let us have them, and please do join us for the next episode.